includes David Wai of Ebonyi State, former Governor Yinso Wike of Rivers State, Nasir El-Rufai, former Minister of the FCC, and current, just gone Governor of Kaduna State, and there's also Mr. Bagudu, all the way from the north. But there are also a few names that are quite popular. Lawali Edun, Dele Alake, there's Froth, Ali Pate. There's just a few names that we can always associate. Joseph, in all ramification, how would you rate the list? I know there are a lot of, so the commentary that I've garnered after the release of that list yesterday has been a mixed one. There are people who, he that is not expectant will not see anything good. He that is expectant would have a reaction, and he who is neutral should also have a reaction. What position are you sitting down now? Are you expectant? Are you a neutral, or you're on the other side?
I'm on the other side. Yes.
Okay.
The issue there is this. For national, let me pick it from to be patriotic and be nationalistic. If I have my way, I would delete Mr. Wike name from there.
Why would you do that? Wike is a performer.
No, the reason in Nigeria we need to have strong opposition. In Nigeria, Wike name be there. Forget about. Let's make alternative of PDP as an opposition leader, opposition party. Because you cannot have, you will not be able to have Wike as a member, still a member of PDP, and though people will say that the late Bola Ige was in is it AD then about
yes.
and he collected a position from yes,
but
that one is a bit different because Wike to me can still do better things for Nigeria, be in PDP and be able to help Bola Tinubu to work.
But isn't that a government of national interest and national
no, forget the issue of what national interest for you to be able to. There's nothing wrong. Me and you we can have different opinions on some things. Wike is a performer, you understanding? But being in APC government is a spanner in PDP because I don't know how, if he's not in that government, maybe something he and Atiku can just meet at the airport anywhere. They will just sit down and say, okay, how do we build our party together? So those that are in PDP now, let us find a way to build PDP as a party. The Wike is in the other side. There's no way. Just forget about it. So let's be looking for another maybe opposition party, possibly if not because of Labour. Labour, we don't know the direction that they are.
They are in court.
They are. No, forget about issue of court. But now, even though when you are in court, PDP is still in court too now. So, but they would have still be providing that, putting the government on its toes. But they are not there. So the only people that will help to be do the job of oppositioner is the media. That will help to critique. No, I don't want us criticizing the government policy, but let us critique them and tell them where area that they need to adjust and the rest of them. A good example is the one maybe like when you look at what happened within the week, the House of Assembly, whereby it's like you are ridiculing more or less like looking at Nigeria. I don't expect the Senate president to do that kind of. If it is civilized country, people would ask him to resign or step aside, because you cannot look at Nigeria that are saying that the things are extremely very very tough. Then you now say, okay, let's see. Nigeria say they won't breathe. Those that say Nigeria should breathe, say hi. And do you actually have any control of how we breathe? It's as if we are not looking at that we are not serious.
Just breaking news: the commissioner list, the list of the commissioners from Lagos State South, Governor Sanwo-Olu has finally released commissioner nominees.
My name did it.
Your name no did it. Okay. He has transmitted a list of his proposed cabinet to the Lagos State House of Assembly for ratification, according to the report on Friday by the Chief Press Secretary Boyega Akoshile. 30% of the commissioner nominees are women, while others are youths, technocrats, and politicians. Some of the cabinet members who were part of the other cabinet make a return. Among former cabinet members on the list are former Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Mr. Gbenga Omotosho. There is Budget and Economic Planning. Emmanuel
Igwebe.
Yes, we have spoken to him on the show before.
Yeah.
Ex-Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi. Wow. That's a solid one. Ex-Special Advisor to the Governor on Works and Infrastructure, Aramide Adeyoye. And his education counterpart, Tukumba Wahab, Aobak. on the list. Among former cabinet members dropped by the Governor, Commissioner of Finance, Rabi Olowo, former Commissioner of Justice and Attorney General of State,
And that man did very well too.
he has been dropped. An ex-commissioner for
Maybe he
wealth
may be lucky
creation,
to go Abuja.
Yetunde Arobieke, has also been dropped. So there's Afolabi Ayotayo, Jamiu Adibalogun, Rotimi Ogunwuyi, Benga Oyeride, Lawal Pedro, San, Babalaji Ogudele, Mr. Ibrahim Layode, Dolapo Fashawe, Toke Benson Awoyinka, Mr. Abukadri Ogugbo, Abiola Olowo, Adekunle Olayinka, Bolaji Sisele Adaoda, Aramide Adeyoye, Idris Aregbe, Yakubu Alebiosho, Tukubo Wahab, Bola Olumegbon, Dr. Oreoluwa Finel Awokoya, Kayode Peters, Moruf Fatai, Sheun Oshiyemi, Barakat Bakare, Aki Abayomi Prof, Mr. Gbenga Motosho, Olalere Odushote, Rotimi Fashola, Musokwefo Oluwa, George, Tubos Olake, Ruth Olusoya, Folashade Adefisayo, Folashade Ambrose, Olumide Olumuyinka, Yomi, Oluyomi, Sanegobe, Jide Babatunde, and Olalekan Fatudo, Sholakpe Amo. That's our own immediate constituency.
That is a wonderful one. And to me, this list.
Why did the governor of Lagos State wait this long?
No, I know we have to again. It's something. It's a decision. So sometimes if it require you making some effort to, so that you not cause, you have to put a lot of interest. A lot of people. You need to consider a lot of people. But with this list, to me, I think Lagos, the governor, have done a very fantastic job. Because to me, if you have a good team that is making effort to deliver, it's not everything that you have to say. Let me change the team.
Motosho is back on the list. It's well deserved.
No, he's a very fantastic individual. I think even the media, if we are bringing another person at this very time, the media will say, okay, mean that we have to learn again how to who his own style of approach to governance and the rest of them. And minister for commissioner for information is very, very key in any government. Extremely, just like minister for information is equally very, very key, because he is the one to relate, create a relationship between the people and the government. So congratulations to all of them, Motosho, Sam Egwebe, and these are fantastic individual. This man, I didn't hear you mention this man named Joe Bukwe. It's not there.
Just on the television right in front of us, Labour and the FG in a negotiation, been able working out based on the palliative. There's supposed to be a conclusion on that one very soon, but I think maybe after all we will get a conclusion to that very soon.
But why should you work out? The issue there is
negotiations are never ending.
The issue of working. If it's okay, we have ended the conversation today. Let us continue tomorrow, because sometimes our land labor is saying that you have to go back, undo everything that you have done, then before we discuss. Assuming tomorrow they just say, you pregnant one lady, and they now say, okay, let's see how. We now say, okay, you have to undo the pregnancy first before we have a conversation. How will you feel?
Joseph, on Monday, our new pastor was on TV, and it caused a drama. Pastor Godwin Emefiele.
You didn't put prophet too.
It was in the Bible, a brand new Bible.
Yes, no.
Joseph, beyond the court case, beyond the appearance at the court, we understand that there was a judgment that went in his favor for a bail. The drama between our men, once again. One thing that we have always continually insisted on this part is collaboration amongst the members of the armed forces and all of the government security agencies around us. But the sight on Monday wasn't so pleasurable. What happened?
It's actually a show of shame between those two wonderful agencies, more or less dragging one individual, whether it's to be under your custody or not. But beyond that, JD, sometimes one need to be extra careful. Our dear wonderful evangelist Godwin Emefiele, possibly you can add Philip or James now, because he maybe received a call through from, whether it is him that called God using DSS phone. You see him with that big Bible. See, one thing is this. We should just try to be careful of a day like this. Emefiele, that the same Emefiele that call will make a pronouncement he said, well, I have a bad news for you. I'm ready for fight. And so many, I have the backing of the president and the rest of. I'm not justifying that the operative did not obey court order and the rest of them, but we just need to be extra careful. I isn't going to not tell me that I want to call the President Buhari, former President Buhari, I have your backing, but what is actually going on? So, to me, we have to be careful. The DSS, the correctional center, make sure you do, which you show that we are in a civilized country, we obey rules and regulations, but we should try to be careful and treat Nigeria as human being. You know the activities of even till tomorrow, some people never balance. As I'm talking to you now, some of my small money that the bank is here to reverse to me. I still need those money. So, well, I just pray that this is the page that life have opened for him. I pray you learn from him, but let the rule of law allow to.
We can have our very first guest on the show today,
yes.
Right? We have two guests. First off, we have Barrister Oyekachi Obani join us, and later on at 7:30, we'll have Sheikh Ahmad Gumi join us all the way from anywhere he is in Nigeria. Don't forget that we're also streaming live across all our social media platforms. We're on YouTube, and we're on Facebook. Check for Mainland 98.3 FM. The show is Voices from the Top on this station, and be sure that the conversation here is the best anywhere on Lagos Radio at this time. There's Kunle Daniel here, and there's Joseph Folorunsho. We'll have a conversation with Barrister Oyekachi Obani shortly, and he would discuss what we need to expect for the new. Once we have an Attorney General, what should be expected of him. He, at the time, during the course of the show, before they talked about the fact that he would have wanted Femi Falana as the Attorney General of the Federation. But like I say, all his wishes will not come to pass. So you would have him join us on the show. We have Barrister Monday Oyekachi Obani join us on Mainland 98.3 FM this wonderful Friday evening. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, my brother. Good evening.
How are you today, Vera?
I'm very fine now.
Yes, so welcome on Mainland FM. My name is Kunle. There's Joseph here.
Barrister,
okay.
Good evening, and I will still say happy birthday. We are trying to close Tom Mainland Bridge for your birthday party, but because you are not around, say okay, let's keep it. Happy birthday! Wishing you more good health and prosperity, and we all together see Nigeria of our dream.
That is a very good prayer.
Thank you very much, Barrister. For someone who is very much interested in the Nigeria of our dream, we all have our sights set on that one. We have what we understand should be the Nigeria that our children, our grandchildren would love to live in. Barrister, finally, the long-awaited ministerial nominees came out yesterday.
First list came out yesterday.
And the conversation that has evolved around it has been the fact that the constitutional requirement just recently amended from the last administration was that before the end of the first 60 days of the administration, there should be a cabinet, at least a list set in place, sent to the National Assembly. But as of now, we just have 28 names. 11 states are still missing. There's supposed to be a second list, including Lagos. Has there been any constitutional breach? Because this is the 60th day already, and we are yet to get a complete list because some of the states are still very much missing in the first tranche sent to the National Assembly.
Barrister, let me equally ask something to is. Are you equally help us to differentiate cabinet and cabinet list?
Cabinet is when the full cabinet has been formed. Now that's the members of the executive council is a cabinet. The list itself now is a ministerial list that's just been released. It's a list. You can see the distinction. When it's a list, they are not yet confirmed and they have not been sworn in, so it remains a list. So I started with that one.
Okay.
And on the issue
the constitutional
is it a constitutional? Was it a constitutional thing or it was just a law that was passed?
Yes, the law that was passed. So
it's not a constitutional. And they can come to it's of a new law that says 60 days, and then you must not only make them give that list within that timeline allocated, you must also ensure that they are given a list. The list has what position you are giving them. You understand me?
Yes.
You cannot say this person is this without you knowing what position are you giving him. The general should be known.
Are you
The general should be known.
Yes.
So the Minister of Finance must be, the portfolio must be attached, so to know what he is going to be. So, but I don't know whether they have complied with that, because those lists I saw did not have any attachment of the position they are supposed to hold when they are eventually confirmed. Understand?
So, do we call that a breach? Because it almost seems, like you rightly mentioned, a law was passed recently. It states that there should be portfolio attached to the names sent to the National Assembly.
Cabinet ready.
But as at now, when Femi Bajabiamila was asked yesterday by the Senate President, he talked about the fact that in due course all that will be done. If there was an actual break of the law, what is the possible punishment? Or as at now,
that is the point. Now, the law did not make any. The law made a provision. It didn't make any prescribe any consequence for any breach. The law is just say you must submit the list of your ministers 60 days after you are sworn in as either the governor or as the president, and then you must also, as I said, attach specific position they are to hold. To avoid a situation where you don't know who is going to be the Attorney General and all that. Having said that, the constitution, the law, the requirements of that law did not say these are the consequences if they fail to comply within 60 days, or they fail to attach relevant positions, our portfolio to their offices. There's no prescription of punishment or penal consequence.
Okay, Barrister, let's talk about the list itself now. A few names are on that list. Nasir El-Rufai, there's Jaydan Wike, but for one that relates to you personally and in your profession should be Lateef Fagbemi, SAN. What's your impression? As at now, our speculation could only mean that might be the possible AGM. How would you react to this name on the list, and what's his...
Whose name now?
Mr. Lateef Fagbemi, SAN.
Okay, Fagbemi, he's a very sound lawyer, and he's been in the profession for a while, and he's known as a man of integrity and a man who is very bold and very courageous. So if he eventually ends up to be the minister, the Attorney General and all that, we're very hopeful. We're very hopeful that there's going to be a break from the past records of our former Attorney Generals that messed up that particular ministry. Somebody of Lateef's reputation, he will try as much as possible to live up to his own reputation. I know him. I've had interaction with him. I followed him to court to pursue a matter up to Court of Appeal. Where I know 2 or 3 cases were handled so I've known him. And then when I was the chairman of CIDEL, I had a court invite him in one of our programs. And he spoke eloquently well, and I know he stands on some of those things that lawyers are doing and all that. So having him as an Attorney General of the Federation is going to be a blessing. I have no doubt about that. But I have problem with Wike as a minister. I have problem with a man who says that anything that has to do with the peace is cancerous. And the same man now is going to accept a ministerial position in a cancerous country and all that. So I don't know how that stands with it. It doesn't suit me well at all. It doesn't suit me well, and for God's sake, he just finished as a governor. Are there no other important personalities, and are there no more educated people? Are there no people that are ready to serve this country that should be made a minister other than those who have served before and then keep on recycling all these old politicians and all that? So my take is that I'm not too comfortable with his ministerial position, but the president has the right of choice. We are choosing him to be his minister and all that. So who am I to complain?
If you Barrister, there's one me, I'm not too comfortable with it. Again, is if you look at the chief of staff to the president, he's an elected member of he's supposed to represent the wonderful people of Surulere. Umahi is a senator that be elected, supposed to represent is a senatorial district in Ebonyi.
The
But now,
ministerial designate from Ondo
yes,
State
now
also
okay,
is also in the
for
Green Chamber.
now those individual, I mean that their people did not. Can we say that the people did not make the right choice? Because this being a minister is like a personal aspiration. But now INEC will now have to conduct another election to fill those gaps, and we don't have money. INEC have to spend money. Is it not better that maybe we make a law that if a Kule is supposed to be is an elected senator or House of Reps, he decide to enter another thing, then the next person during the election, then they will just call the other, when irrespective of the party, come and tell me now that the other person have decided to say this position is too small, or I don't want to. Is it a must that these guys must be in the cabinet?
So if we want to amend our law to reflect what we have just said, to save cost, it makes a lot of sense rather than going through another round of election during which we will spend so much money and then putting everyone at risk. Election in Nigeria is a very risky business. So if this man doesn't want to be a senator, why don't we take the second person who is the first runner-up and then crown him the senator, which is a very good suggestion. There's so much noise at your background, though. There's so much noise at your background.
Okay, it's better now.
There's so much noise at your background.
Is it better now?
Is it better now?
It's better.
Okay.
Yeah, it's better. It's better. So I'm saying that is a very good and apt suggestion. Then it is very appalling that somebody is elected by his people to represent him as a senator, and the man now chooses to be a minister that is very temporal. As a senator, he's a tenure for the 4 years you're there as a senator. But now, minister, it can be removed even a month or 3 days after you are appointed. You are the whims and caprices. You are appointed at the whims and caprices of the president. You cannot be removed in such manner. So I don't understand what is crazy. What is the craze to be a minister, which is more important than being a senator. I would rather prefer to be a senator to represent my people, to enact laws for my people. But somebody prefers to be a minister. So honestly, it's something that I can't fathom.
Okay.
That's what I want to say.
Before we let you go, you did mention your expectations in some regards, talking about the fact that you're not comfortable with Nyesom Wike being a part of the ministerial list because of his previous statement, which has been a different fora. But looking at the list in its essence, there are 4 women at the time, 24 other people, ex-governors, 4 ex-governors also on that same list. Are there names that inspire confidence, and what is your expectation going forward? I'm
not impressed with those names. I'm not impressed with those people that they list. The list of Tinubu, President Tinubu with those people that he put there as discussed.
What names were you expecting? And what's your definition of a technocrat?
If you want me to mention names, there are so many. Nigeria is a country of over 200 million. Brilliant minds all over the world. If you give me that task of assembling the best hands that can run this country and run Nigeria out of problems, it will take me more than a week for me to assemble those names. So there are people who have kept this country where we are. No much progress has been made. These are the same sort of people you bring, and all that. I was expecting when this man was working time just like Buhari, I thought he's going to come out with one kind of name that when you see the name, it inspires confidence in you. But I'm not too impressed. I'm not too impressed with those names that listen, is it Erufai that inspired me? Is it the weekend you mentioned that will inspire me in that ministerially? No. Just a replica of even from my state and other. So
okay,
make me watch me.
Okay.
Make you finally, I'm in a meeting. You could be finally, please. Let this one be your final question.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Final question. Synergy has been a quick question, especially when it comes to security forces. At the Federal High Court earlier this week, we saw the drama that ensued between the members of the DSS, Department of State Security Service, and members of the correctional facilities, correctional facilities, yeah, definitely.
Correctional service.
Correctional
trying to correct the DSS.
Yes, trying to correct the DSS. What do you make of that event from that day?
I am not the present government is giving too much powers to DSS. It's a very dangerous signal. It's a very, very dangerous signal. We know what DSS is supposed to investigate. We know what DSS is supposed to do in Nigeria. Also know that DSS is not above the law. DSS is a creation of law, so they must be subjected to the laws of the land. But we have seen DSS being run by Mr. Bichi as feeling that they are above the law. Does not respect court judgment, does not respect court order. What happened in the court last I think Monday or Tuesday was the most embarrassing situation ever in the history of this country, where there was an express order of the court that was heard by all the parties that this is what should be the condition for bail, and that the man should be taken into custody within the correctional center. That was made very known and very explicit. DSS ought to obey that particular court instruction and judgment, but they decided to obey in breach and caused a lot of confusion, and we saw the fighting and all that, which was very embarrassing and disgraceful. It doesn't portray Nigeria as a country that is under the law. It does not portray us as people that are very sane, Nigeria is being run by people who are civilized. It makes Nigeria to look like a banana republic, and that is what the incident of that particular day portrays. And I think the president has not spoken about it. The president has not called DSS to order, which means that the president is clearly at home with what happened, and that he's very happy with what other nations are looking at. Nigeria as a country that is being run by lawless people and all that. If the president wants it that way, fine. But it's going to be a long way. I've said it in a statement I issued, that as long as the president will obey the rule of law, obey court judgment, he's going to get the support of patriotic Nigerians and some of us who are human rights lawyers. But the moment the president wants to be lawless and want to encourage lawlessness in the country where he's the president, we will resist him. We will speak. We will be against him. And everyone that loves this nation must be bold enough to speak against lawlessness in Nigeria. We must be able to do that. I follow him. So I just want him to tell BT to obey the rule of law. I thank God that they went to court now to extend the order of detention for Emefiele, and the court turned it down and all that. So they should release Emefiele and make sure that they prosecute him for whatever offense they have charged him and make him convicted if they have any evidence. That's all. Thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you very much. Have a fantastic rest of the Friday.
Thank you.
Okay, that's Barrister Monday Oyekachi-Obani. He's a lawyer by excellence, and also
former NBA chairman,
Lagos
Ikeja branch.
Yes, Ikeja branch. So it's always a delight to listen to him talk on the radio. It's mainland 98.3 FM. We are the sound of Lagos. Yes, our guest today on the show, like I already mentioned, our first guest was Barrister Monday Oyekachi-Obani. The second guest is Sheikh Ahmad Gumi. We are discussing, we're asking him, tackling insecurity, state of the nation, tackling insecurity. We'll have a conversation from different angles, and we know it's always a delight to speak to also. You can as well join us by texting us on our numbers 0913 6000 430. Drop us a text message, and we'll definitely react to that one on this side. And we asked to try and reach out to Sheikh Ahmad Gumi right about this time on the show, as he'll be waiting for us to give us his insights on how we can tackle insecurity, and how also to ensure that we have a country that is peaceful and safe. Good evening, Sam.
Good evening. How are you?
Very well, thank you. My name is Kunle, and there's Joseph here, and this is Mainland FM in Lagos.
Okay, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. Our topic basically is tackling insecurity, the state of the nation. First off, you've been in the forefront of this conversation for quite a while now, and it's only imperative that we say a big thank you for your efforts, and also ask you directly first off, how would you rate the state of the nation in recent times? Do you think it's a little bit peaceful now than it has been in the last few years?
Well, in terms of security-wise and the instability, I think it's almost the same thing. Nothing has changed.
Why do you say so?
I'm just getting a call now from a border town in Jigawa State. The bandits are attacking the village right now. I'm talking now.
A border town in Jigawa State?
Yes, border with Niger. And you see now, Niger is becoming unstable again. It can only compound the issue if the right measures are not taken.
So, talking about the right measures, former Governor Ahmed Sani Yerima of Zamfara State was in a meeting with the president recently, talked about and highlighted majorly that the negotiation and consultation that happened with the Niger Delta during the time of President Yar'Adua should also be brought to full light in this period of time. Maybe it's about time we start negotiating with the terrorists and the bandits to have at least peace in the northwest and the northeast. Well, the current governor, Daud Alawal, is different. Is speaking in a different tone. Talking about the fact that it is action till the end. Also, the current COAS, that's the Chief of Army Staff, is also saying that it is fight to the finish, and is also calling for collaboration. And you have just mentioned the fact that you just received a call all the way from Jigawa State that there's crisis brewing in that part again. Where do you stand?
After our call, I'll give you the number. You can call them.
Yeah.
We don't mind, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
we don't mind. So do you think negotiation is the way, negotiation and amnesty is the way to go in terms of at least solving the crisis that we have in the northwest and the northeast at this time?
Yes, we have tried everything except that. We have tried everything. We have tried the military or Buhari government spent 19 trillion naira on security, on military, with no result. I'm telling you, the situation is the same. You see, when Yerima, Senator Yerima spoke, he spoke from deep knowledge of the state. You cannot compare him to any other person when it comes to the Zamfara State, because he has actually played grassroots politics in the Zamfara State, and he knows what are the causes of the insecurity there.
Okay, but Edwin Clark, that's an elder statesman in the Niger Delta, says the situation in the Niger Delta, talking about negotiation and amnesty, is quite different from what is happening in the north. That is basic criminality, and whilst that has an economic, it's more of economic integration.
You don't have to do exactly the same picture.
So what do you suggest?
If Panadol will help somebody with malaria because of the fever, the same Panadol will help somebody with typhoid fever because of fever. Now we are suffering from fever. We want something that will cure us. You know, you don't have to be the same picture, but it will definitely work. Do you know how it will work?
Tell us.
Yes, because you see, when you have such a program, every individual will be known. Every individual will be on the radar. Every individual will be mapped. So what else do you need? Now you are fighting a ghost. How do people want to continue to fight a ghost? Somebody you don't know. Someone that will come into your town, do everything and go back and join the band. And see, if there is an amnesty and we are able to enforce into their territory with the building schools, hospitals, and bring them together, something like that will get them engaged with the government. Bring government close to them. That is only. But then other way say get more uniforms, get more Tecano, get more. They are just essentially we lost so many soldiers. It's like, wow. You know, war is good for a fact.
Okay.
And we have seen our conventional army, all conventional army, they are not geared towards fighting insurgency or banditry. You know that. You see how the Taliban in Afghanistan, you know, after a period of almost 20 years, the American army is saying, no, this is not our own. But if it's to destroy Afghanistan in 15 seconds, America can destroy the country completely. But to fight a guerrilla war is something different.
Now, Ogashe Gumi, some people say that the Niger Delta issue, some of those guys are known, but the people involved in banditry and other issues in the north are not known. What is your position? Are these guys, are they known, and how can we reach them?
Yes, you see, the argument is one. They don't have a unified leader. No, you don't need a unified leader. You talk to every individual leader there. There are more than maybe 90 groups. You talk to each and every group and bring him on board. There are not that many. From our crude census, those holding ammunition and fighting the state, there are no more than 100,000 people. But you see, you need to know them, you need to get into contact with them. And strangely, I can tell you confidently, I've worked in there with security people. They listen to us. Even Kaduna State Commissioner, when we went to Mori, he spoke to them, and luckily he's a Fulani, he spoke to them in peaceful day. They're ready to drop down their arms, but they have their grievances and they have their apprehension towards the Nigerian state.
So, Ogashe Gumi, we can regard it as one of the stakeholders. What do you think the military, the government can do to maybe have a synergy with you as a stakeholder and see if talking to these people, different approach, or is the government willing to listen to you for all of us to be in round table? What we're after is let this activity that is not making us to move forward stop. What can we do to bring everyone on board? And what area can you help?
I hope this government has a listen one. And secondly, its approach should be more it should be more intelligent than the previous government. This bulldog is facing the bull by the horn. It's not the right thing.
Can you speak up? We can barely hear you. We're struggling to hear you, sir.
Or you can. Okay, I think it's the network.
Okay, so
what I'm saying. This dispensation is just coming in now. It has not really started doing anything in any direction, except the pronouncement by the military, which this is what you expect from the military. You don't expect softness. But it's not for the military to decide whether there's amnesty or not. This is a political issue, and I think the government is politically aware and conscious enough to know what is good for it.
Okay, let me engage you on this, sir. It's no doubt that the military in the last few years have been up to the task. For example, in Borno State, although 2 days ago there was a report that 21 people were beheaded somewhere in Borno State, but it seems there's relatively calm in Borno State now, especially in the northeast. The farmer elder crisis is still very much around us. In Plateau State, there's no day that there's no bad news coming from that end. All of this have different dimension to it. In your own summation, for someone who has been not only served as a member of the Nigerian Armed Forces, but someone who is on the ground, and who speaks to a lot of these people who are causing the trouble. What is the grounds with the Nigerian government? Is there someone sponsoring that we don't know of? Is there the international conspiracy happening somewhere? What is really happening?
Okay, you see, it's a different etiology, different causes of these issues you have. The Boko Haram issue is different. Even recently in the news, Boko Haram were fighting the herdsmen in Borno, and Boko Haram is fighting between itself and ISIS and others. We don't show how it's not the military that killed him. In the north central, the tribes there are fighting each other, and especially the Hada farmer residents
Are you there, sir?
Hello?
Okay.
Okay, yes, we're with you. Okay, this is still mainland 98.3 FM. We have Sheikh Ahmad Gumi on the line, all the way from, I think it's in Kaduna.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, great. So you were saying something about the Boko Haram, the ISWAP axis, the Fulani herdsmen, the elders clashes. They all have different dimensions, and you're trying to enlighten us on the dimensions that comes with it.
Yes, but all of it goes to one thing. All of it.
Which
is poverty, unemployment, and the ungoverned areas. So how can you govern an area that is ungoverned? Government has to bring in social amenities to the area, bring schools, bring hospitals, bring markets, something like that. Then you bring your police. It should be police, not army, and we should try to educate everybody, because once you lose these people without education, I'm telling you, they continue to carry it on.
No. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, Ogashe Gumi, there's one challenge that we have in Nigeria or in Africa. We are not systemic in our approach to issue. Sometimes we are not systemic on our approach to issue. Let me quickly just bring this on board. Currently, there is a meeting with some president, vice president, all of government of Africa and Putin. Currently, the meeting is supposed to be in South Africa, but occasion warrant them to move it to that very place. And you know that America, they have a way of approach. What do you think? What do you think as an expert, a very senior military officer? What do you think Nigeria should do so that there should not be any consequence from maybe possibly America to countries that are participating in meeting with Putin now? Because Putin is on the other side of the table with some countries like America, UK, Canada, and the rest of them.
Yes, you see, Nigeria has to maintain that non-alignment, which has been a center of our policy since a long time ago. I think since the first coming of our Obasanjo, we should be friendly with every bloc. We should not align ourselves with any especially military power. We should be neutral. And this is what India is taking, the position of India, Egypt, and others in non-alignment movement. I think this is what we should maintain, especially the world is getting hot now. Tension is there, and the possibility of an escalated third world war probably is to develop. So Nigeria should remain neutral, really, especially tension in Sudan, tension in Niger. I had in Niger, even this Niger conflict, Nigeria should not take sides. It should be neutral. What we try to do is negotiate peaceful resolution of conflict.
But our dear president have already condemned that, and I think they are going to have a meeting in Abuja on Sunday from report.
Always an impromptu response to stimuli usually leads us to some things or consequences we don't. If there is any disorder in any country, we don't have any interference with the internal affairs. Let's sit down and settle down. Because these soldiers you see now, they can help us greatly in causing our own problem here. This maybe probably the civilians cannot do. As I told you now, there are tensions there at the border in the Gaza State. Bandits coming from Niger and Niger.
Okay, Sheikh.
Niger into our border, you know. So we should not only rush into condemning or accepting. Let's also have this wait and see approach to issues. Nigeria needs to be neutral now in what I say.
Okay.
So I support the government going in to meet the Putin, and at the same time send an emissary to the White House too. It's good.
Okay. Now you are a retired very senior military officer. What is your take, or how do we benefit? I think they should say this is the first time we are having a civilian as an NSA
In recent
time. What do you think we can do that military? There, some of those that are there now, they should cooperate and see how they can actually remove him. Being a civilian, you should not look at him as a bloody civilian, and see how we can handle the issue of insecurity in Nigeria.
No, you see, security requires honesty, integrity, and confidence. The president has to put somebody as assured of his loyalty. It's more important than rank or anybody. Look at what Buhari went through. They were spending left, right, and center, and they were just laughing at him, following the money. So we need somebody with trust, and I think Roberto is somebody who is not greedy and who can objectively look at things and see the right way. So I don't think we will have problems, especially if we have the backing of the president.
Okay. As a well-known Muslim scholar and someone who is quite popular when it comes to Islam, especially in the northern part of the country, we all know that Islam itself doesn't give any kudos to criminality. In Islam, criminality is not allowed. However, for your stance in your religion as an Islamic cleric, it is not so clear on your position, because a lot of the times the bandits and the terrorists seem to find a space to relate with you, and you seem to be a voice for them. Is that not in contradiction to your stance as as an Islamic cleric? Can you give us a distinction on that?
Oh, okay. You see, when you when you have somebody who you are sure is ignorant about the religion, secondly, he is complaining about genuine injustices and grievances, and you want to turn him to God. You have to do that systematically, slowly. That's why wherever we go, we don't just go to the bush, we also preach to them. There's an abomination, killing people, doing that, giving them books. We don't only leave them, we leave them with books. And not only that, we follow up with scholars from the town going into the bush to preach to them, except when they are declared as bandits, as terrorists and stuff. But we saw a change in their approach, and at one time they even released many people without any compensation. So if we continue on that lane too, I think it's important the government should look into it and try to convince them on the theological aspect of criminality.
Also, you are saying now that your religion stance doesn't necessarily mean that you are apologetic to the criminals.
Impossible. How can you be apologetic? I'm not apologetic to them. I'm just trying to see to win their heart. A genuine partner to really sit down with. I'm telling you.
An opportunity to bring all of these people to a round table to have a conversation with the government. Like I said earlier, the Chief of Army Staff, Major General Lagbaja, says the amnesty program is a failure. Edwin Clark says the amnesty program for the Niger Delta is different from that of the North. That it's you cannot compensate criminality. Ahmed Nerima, you said, is a man that knows about the crisis in that part and he knows what they're saying. But for someone who relates with them, who, for the first time, I'm sure the Nigerian military itself must have not gotten that call that you got some minutes ago about the fact that there's a crisis going in Jigawa State.
Okay. So why is people from Adamawa border calling me? Because the confidence they have, I will listen to them and I will do the right thing. You see, you have to establish confidence and trust in people if you want to get their hearing. But once you come on air and start saying, kill them, bombard them, and all that, they never have confidence in them. In fact, they just paint you as part of the system that is operating them. You'll be so surprised. This criminality you see. To them, they are freedom fighters. I'm telling you, this is what they see themselves. So, okay, let's, for sure, argument agree we are freedom fighters. But you know how to inflict injuries on innocent people, you said you innocent people are killed. That is, that is the psychology behind all the measures they are trying to take.
Ogashe Gumi, you as a very you are being in the military. Information is as a very serious asset in the military world or in the security world. But you look at it that there are a lot of compromise in terms of communication in the security world. What do you think we can do to check that?
And do you think there's connivance with, because the argument around town is that some elites, especially in the northern part of the country, and some senior military officers are in connivance with some of these criminals. Do you agree with that assertion? And what do you think about the information sharing?
Leakage of information to the...
Okay, you see, our military, they are Nigerians too. Like we have in bureaucracies, we have everywhere criminals, we have criminals in the military, we have criminals in the police, and everywhere we have criminals. Politicians too. Majority of them are criminals. So, even in the press, do you think everybody report what is right? No. So yes, there are bad elements, bad eggs that are conniving with this and are milking and benefiting from it. I could remember a custom officer told me, a very high custom officer told me one of the states, they had like an illegal mining by a foreign country. They said they mobilized themselves went to the area deep in the forest. And we found some of our security guarding them. So you see, yes.
As members of the armed forces guiding terrorists.
Guiding illegal mining in the forest.
Wow.
So and you see what we fear with the herdsmen, two things we fear. These foreign experts that are coming here have started paying these bandits to to allow a passage, a corridor for them to go and mine. So you see, they are going to be bribed now with the minerals, minerals, what? Especially lithium, and we have gold in for and other things. If the bandits now have a way of getting these minerals, then we're in trouble. Secondly, if the bandits have come into alliance with the Boko Haram issue of Axis and Ansari Axis, then it will be a different, completely different story. You know, it is just fighting criminality, which is organized by religious zeal. It's more difficult to fight than when it's just criminality.
So, Ogashe Gumi, will you mind if you create an opportunity to have an audience with the president and equally present some possible solution to him? Even if maybe they may not invite you, but you make effort and say, okay, I'm a stakeholder and how peace can be in this country, my president, or our dear president, let me have an audience with you and let's have a conversation. Hope you don't mind.
Well, no, I don't mind. But I think it's even going to be easier and simpler because Roberto as the NSA, I know, and I know most of this, what do you call it?
The security service chiefs, service chiefs.
I know because when I was going into the bush, in fact, the army headquarters is well aware of what we are going to do. So I don't think it's... and then I have heard really the government is looking both ways, looking at the kinetic and the non-kinetic approaches, which is good. And I will support it. I only not support to spend so much money on kinetic when you neglect the non-kinetic aspect and including funding.
Yes. Okay.
So I think they are not really, they are starting. I'm just saying they are starting. Let's wait and see how they develop and see how they can tackle the issue.
Okay, sir. The current Inspector General of Police is from the investigation department. What would be your advice in him bringing a lot of new things to bring a lot of new things to help us tackle their internal security issue?
Yes, in fact, today in our mosque, the Commissioner of Police of Cabinet State, Police Commissioner Musa Garba, he came to the mosque and addressed the congregation as part of the community policing, saying, here there used to be bands and what do you call it, rascals. In fact, killing people to just snatch away their handsets. But it has come down now because of the effort of the police. So it's seeking the cooperation of the society and advising parents also to take care of their children. You see, what the police needs to do, it needs to show itself as a friend to the people. And people will assist them and help them in policing the state.
Before we let you go, my final question should be this. In the next 4 years, we are up for elections, and every decision taken now is important. Like you rightly mentioned, just as the current vice president rightly said, that kinetic and non-kinetic
approach is
needed to ensure that we have peace in Nigeria. Well, I would need you to give us 3 focuses, 3 key points that you think the new administration should work on in trying to ensure that we have peace in this country.
Okay, you see, actually what triggered the insecurity, especially in the Northwest, is the illegal action or extradition killings by the vigilante. If the government can come and say, okay, we have to scrape away vigilante, it will go a long way and convert them into regional or state-like security outfits under the direct supervision of the police. That will do enough. Secondly, we have to go into the bookings, no matter how far, try to gather people, mobilize them, educate them and their children. So that requires the engagement of the government. And that will give the government an eye into what they are doing and who is who. This is a way, I think I would say, that the curb all this criminality of this.
Okay, we have to let you go. Thank you very much for your time, Sheikh Abubakar Gumi.
as you know, you are part of the team. So anytime we always find a way to call you for us to have a very wonderful conversation like this. But we just have to see how Nigeria will continue to be in peace and we'll move forward.
No, this is our prayer. This is our prayer. Thank you very much. And your efforts.
Right.
Yes, yes. That was the voice of Sheikh Ahmad Gumi, all the way from Kaduna State, right? Also, earlier during the show, we had Barrister Monday Wikachi join us and talk about the ministerial list. In his own words, he's not impressed by the list released by the president and said that there's really no breach at the moment. So it's been a fruitful conversation, Joseph, in a real sense of it. We have to go at this time. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. We thank God we'll meet again
Next
on
week.
Friday in peace and harmony.
Yes, so it is
Maybe
mainland
that time my name might have been on this supplementary.
You understand? It is mainland 98.3 FM. We are the sound of Lagos. Voice from the Top is live on this radio, 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock on Fridays. Just as you rightly mentioned, Voices from the Top is where you get to hear all the voices that are at the top. At 8 o'clock, there is Mr. Kokore here with Ibadan Friday, Friday, and Friday to Louis on this radio station. There's so much more on the other side. Have a fantastic rest of the Friday.
Mainland 98.3 FM.
Arabani Baba. Ọ̀tún ìró Èkó.